have a story to share with you, which is directly related to the place we're here. And it's the story of the beast that used to live here and that possibly, maybe that's its breath still coming out. So Chimera, the beast which had a head of a lion that would spurt out fire and a tail that was like a snake. And out of its body came out a second head, the head of a goat. So part goat, part fire-spurting lioness, and part snake, because it was a female monster. And what happened to this beast? It was killed. Who killed it? Bellerophon. Who was Bellerophon? Let's start from the beginning. A few days ago, Koray told you the story of Sisyphus. And Sisyphus had a son named Glaucus, who was a very fierce king. So fierce and so loving of war that he even went so far as to feed human flesh to his horses, so as to make them fiercer and more terrible in battle. The gods did not like this. They did not like his changing the natural nature of horses. So they cursed him, just like they had cursed his father. And the way they cursed him, they said, since you have fed your horses with human flesh, since you have committed this crime against nature, then you shall perish in that way. And his horse-drawn carriage fell from a cliff. He died with it, and his own horses ate him, just like he had trained them to eat human flesh. And so Glaucus was the king. The city no longer had a king. And they looked around to see who he could have fathered, because he didn't have a natural son, but he must have fathered many. So they looked around the city to see who could possibly be Glaucus, the fiercest son. And in time in the city, there was a man named Bellerophon. The man was good-looking and strong, arms like trees, courageous, wise, witty, good-looking. I mean, just the kind of man who would be the son of a king. And so everybody whispered, Bellerophon must be Glaucus' son, must be. But others said, no, he's too strong, too fierce, too courageous, too wise. He must be Poseidon's son, the god of the sea. And so here the city is divided. He is the son of a king. Is he the son of a god? And while they're arguing about whether he's half god or half king, what is Bellerophon thinking about? Is he worried about this? No. Bellerophon is only thinking about his own passion, his own dream. What is it? Bellerophon has a dream. The dream of riding Pegasus, the magical horse. Pegasus is a winged horse which is undefeated, impossible to catch. It flies so fast and it is so beautiful and so wild, and no one has ever been able to mount it. And so Bellerophon, the strong, Bellerophon, the wise, the smart, the courageous, his dream is to rise Pegasus. Pegasus, who is not only a strong horse, but also a magical one. With his hoof, he touched a rock, and out of this rock, a source, the helicon, a source was born. And from this source, all the poets drank for inspiration. This is how magical this horse is, and no one has ever ridden it. And so Bellerophon doesn't pay any ear to whether he's a god or a king. He only cares to know if he can be the master of that untamable horse. And he goes to see a prophet to ask, do you know how I could accomplish this? And he said, why don't you go and spend a night in Athena's temple? Sometimes when people sleep there, she visits them in their dream and she gives them advice. That seemed like a good enough advice, so he went to Athena's temple and he slept there the night. In his dream, Athena, the statue, transformed into Athena, the goddess. And she came to him and she said, I know what your deepest dream is. You want to ride Pegasus. No one ever has, but you have been so courageous, so brave. You are so strong that you and only you deserve to ride this horse. So I shall give you something that will make it possible. And she took out a golden piece, a cylinder, and left it by his side. Went back to being a statue, and Bellerophon woke up. It was but a dream. For a moment he thought he had spoken to the goddess, that she had given him a magical object to... Oh, but what is this? The goddess is gone, but the golden, magical cylinder is still here. He took it. He tied leather bands to it, and he went out to where Pegasus was. It was eating grass there. He got close to it, and for the first time, Pegasus didn't go anywhere because he had the magical golden cylinder, and he put it in Pegasus' mouth, and Pegasus let it because he knew that this had been sent by the goddess. And in that moment, Bellerophon became Pegasus' master. Things would have been perfect. He could have taken Glaucus' place and be the winged king. But things aren't that easy always. And by accident, we don't know exactly how, but by accident, he happened to kill his brother. And so he was chased from his own city. He had to go and find another kingdom. But to a hero with arms big like trees, with a winged horse and so much courage and strength, it's not difficult to find another kingdom that will welcome you and take you in. And so he went to another kingdom with his horse. Proetos. The king welcomed him in. Wonderful. You have a new hero in town. He has a winged horse. They start having competition, showing him around. He wins against everyone. The people love him. They adore him. He goes through the street. They shower him with petals of flowers. Life is going good. He feasts at Proetos' table every night. Things are wonderful. So wonderful. He's the golden boy that Proetos' wife, she falls in love with him. And when Proetos is not looking, she comes on to him. He's shocked. Be with the wife of my host? Never. Well, hell has no fury like a rejected woman. And so she went to her husband and she said, oh, this man that you're taking him as your guest, this man that you're feeding at your table, do you know what he offered me to do? Do you know that he asked me to be with him? And here you are, feeding him still. Proetos went crazy. But at the same time, what can he do? Bellerophon is his guest. They have eaten at the same table. They have shared the same bread. He cannot kill him, and yet he's deadly angry hearing that he has tried to be with his wife. And so he sends him with a letter to a friend of his, the king of Lycia. He writes in the letter, please, kill this man for me. Closes the letter, gives him to Bellerophon and says, dear Bellerophon, my friend, I would like you to send this letter to my good friend, the king of Lycia. Will you go? It's easy for you. You have a winged horse. Bellerophon said, of course, no worries. Me and Pegasus will fly over the sea and go on the Lycian way, on the Lycian kingdom, and deliver your letter. When he arrived, once again at the doors with his winged horse Pegasus and his strong body and his shining hair and the look of a hero, the doors opened to him and everyone welcomed him like a saving hero. He came into the king. The king opened the door and said, I have brought a message for you from Proetos. Proetos is my friend and you, the hero, have brought a message from him. Please. It is not time for messages. It is time for festivity. It is time to honor the host in the way that Zeus tells us to honor any host. And so he took him to the hammam and he bathed and washed him and oiled him up with scented oils. And then they sat on the table and for 9 days and 9 nights they feasted and partied and drank wine and ate. And at the end of the 9 days, the king of Lycia said, now, please, give me the letter that my friend has sent for me. And there he opened the letter. Please kill the carrier of this letter. It was a little late because he could no longer kill him. Why? They had eaten at the same table. They had broken bread. And the rules of Zeus are very strong. If you have a guest, you can never in any way hurt it. So it was too late for him to do anything. Well, it was too late for him to kill him directly. But not too late for him to ask him to do something impossible in which he would surely find death. That's another way of killing someone. And so he thought of something impossible. And it happened that in the kingdom of Lycia, up on the hills over Phaselis, was a fierce monster. A monster that anyone who saw always died. A monster who it was said when you see it, disaster will happen. A storm, an earthquake, something terrible. A monster who had the head of a lion that always spurted out fire. A monster that had the tail with the head of a snake. A monster that had the head of a goat coming out of its body. So they said, go and kill that monster. Sure that he would perish. But for someone who has a winged horse, nothing is difficult. With Pegasus, Bellerophon went and flew over the monster, and from the sky he just shot his arrows away from the fire, away from the risk, and he killed the beast. Then with a lance, leaded with heavier with lead, he pierced the beast, and then the beast went down in the ground, as it is and where it is still today, spurting fire, but gone. He went back to the king of Lycia. Didn't really know what to do of him. Well, but thank him for getting rid of the monster, and he sent him back to Proetus. Proetus thought, well, that's a good way of getting rid of someone. He sent him against another army, but once again with Pegasus. Bellerophon was undefeated. He defeated that army. Then the Amazons came to invade Lycia. And there, once again, they sent him. They said, please, Bellerophon, go and battle the fierce Amazon, the female soldiers who cut their breasts to be able to use their arrows and bows better, the strong, fierce Amazons. Bellerophon, by himself, was able to send him out of the country again. And when he did so much, killed the beast, defeated 2 armies, what to do but forgive him for anything he might have done? So he went back to Proetus, and Proetus married him to his own daughter. Well, things were fine for Bellerophon. A winged horse, seen as a hero throughout the world, people waiting for him, defeating armies everywhere. And you know what happens when things are so good? People start thinking that their good fortune is not the result of their own, of the willingness of the gods. People start thinking that the good fortune is something they have made. They start having a big ego. And so Bellerophon, instead of thanking the god for giving him a winged horse, instead of thanking the god for giving him good fortune, started to say, I am equal to the god. In fact, my real place is not down here with you. It is up on the Olympos with the gods. And I have a winged horse, and I shall go there. And so he rode Pegasus, hoping to go all the way, and by himself, without being chosen in any kind of way, just enter the kingdom of the gods and take what he felt was his right place as a god. Zeus said, so you think you are the maker of your own fate? So you think you have created your own luck, and that we have nothing to do with it? Let's see if it comes from you, or if it comes from me. And he sent a very simple little bee down to Pegasus. And the bee just stung Pegasus as they were flying up. And Pegasus, as it was stung, rebelled and threw Bellerophon up from the sky all the way down to the earth. Bellerophon fell. He was maimed. He became blind and hurt. And so he continued to live his life. But for a hero to live life after so much glory, after so much fame, as blind and handicapped, is so difficult, especially after you have believed so much of yourself as a god. And so he became bitter and angry, and he retired from the business of people and went to live by himself. And so it is, they say, that you should always remember that good or bad, fortune is never of your own making. You have what the gods give you, and you should be grateful for it. This is the story of Bellerophon.